I was talking to a young man here at the church, kind of about who's into art, and I told him it's kind of interesting, when you combine all these colors, like black is a combination of colors. It's just like every color,
All the colors together.
yeah, minus white, minus light.
Yeah.
And I felt that in there. It's like all these religions, all these philosophies, all these things, but it's minus light, minus Jesus, minus truth. But Paul talks about not being cheated and how we can be cheated. God is places tremendous value in us, but there's ways to be cheated out of that.
Yeah.
And he writes here in Colossians 2:6-10, as you therefore have received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk in him. So he doesn't want believers to lose out on what they've been given.
Yeah.
So walk in him, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith as you've been taught, abounding in it with thanksgiving. Beware lest anyone cheat you. And he names some specific ways that people can be cheated, where they can sell themselves short or sell themselves out for less than what they're worth. So he says, beware lest anyone cheat you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the tradition of men, according to the basic principles of the world, and not according to Christ. For in him dwells all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and you are complete in him. And think about the value. You are complete in him. You are not lacking.
Nope.
You are not without. You are not. You are complete in him, who is the head of all principality and power. So when you look at Jesus, you have to realize that he is complete. There's nothing lacking in him. And some people struggle with that. Even this past Sunday, I talked about Philip, how he didn't see Jesus as complete. Jesus said in John 14:6, I'm the way, the truth, the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. He's actually talking to his disciples at the Last Supper. So they'd been with him for 3 years. And this is his last sermon to him. And Philip just kind of pipes up and says, well, show us the Father and it will suffice us. I'm sure Philip in heaven today is not happy that John wrote that about him.
Yeah, probably not.
But I kind of tied it to something Philip said, when Jesus wanted to feed the 5,000. It said in John's, and this is the only account, the feeding of the 5,000 is actually the only miracle besides the resurrection that's mentioned in all four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And so it's mentioned in all four Gospels, but John brings out some interesting things. He brings out that Philip said something. And Jesus actually, when he saw these multitudes, 5,000 men, so there's probably more than that with women and children, he asked Philip, and it said he was testing him, how are we going to feed these people? And Philip, looks in his bag and says, well, 200 denarii, which is 200 days' wages, so that's about, $40,000 or something. Said even $40,000 wouldn't feed him. It would just only feed him a little bit. And he said it wouldn't suffice. So he was kind of stuck in that insufficient, lacking
mindset,
not understanding the abundance, the completion that's with Jesus, and even with himself,
Yeah.
And in terms of that miracle that Jesus performed, it related to how he saw Jesus later on as well. So sometimes how you see yourself, it's reflected in if you see yourself as lacking and not valuable. And
well, I think anytime you're looking at yourself in the natural, you're always going to see the lack. You're always going to see the things that you're not. You're always going to see the areas that you need to develop. But what I love about that story, in the 5 loaves and the 2 fish or whatever, is that Jesus took that and where did he look? He took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and where did he look?
he looked up.
He looked up. He wasn't looking at the lack.